Hello Flosstube, my name is Nikki Diaz, aka Stitchy Nurse Mama, and welcome to my very first Flosstube. I am so excited to finally be doing this. I have been wanting to start a Flosstube since I stumbled upon the community about 3 or 4 years ago. And I just put it off and I put it off and life got in the way. And this year, with the support of my wonderful husband, I finally decided to take the plunge. So I went by Stitchy Nurse Mama because my husband, back when we were just friends a long time ago, had always called me Mama. And now that we're married, everything I do is either if I'm stitching, I'm Stitchy Mama. If I'm in my scrubs, I'm Nurse Mama, and so on and so forth. So we came up with Stitchy Nurse Mama, and he is an artist and created the wonderful logo that you saw at the beginning of this video. You can find him at DerekDiazArt.com. Shameless plug. But he's wonderful, and my son has always wanted me to start a YouTube channel. He wanted me to start one of the video game YouTubes, since we're all gamers in this house. So they've been wonderfully supportive, and here I am. I'm 41 years old. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I took a break from healthcare for a very long time and was a full-time performer for 14 years, a singer and a dancer and an actor. So if you are one of my people from that part of my world, welcome to the other crazy, artsy part of my universe, and I hope you enjoy it. In terms of my stitching history, my mother taught me how to cross stitch when I was probably 12, maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere in that range. My mother was almost exclusively a kit stitcher. She had a couple cross stitch magazines and whatnot, but mostly it was like the dimensions kits you could pick up at the Michaels or the Joann's. And so that's kind of what I grew up on. Here and there, I would try something else. I'd put it down. We didn't really know anybody else who was a stitcher, so I would pick it up and put it down periodically throughout my life. And then I think it was the winter of 2019 going into 2020, where I stumbled across my first Flosstube videos. I was trying out embroidery for the first time, and for anybody else who's exclusively a cross stitcher, you know that that's a completely different beast. And so I was watching some YouTube videos on how best to do some of the specialty stitches, and I happened to come across a video, which I have no clue who it was, but it was somebody explaining the parking method with full coverage pieces. Now, years before, I had started a full coverage piece for my mother of her favorite Picasso painting, and I kept putting it down because it was so frustrating. It was just nothing but confetti, and again, I was doing this completely in the dark, no instructions, nobody to ask questions to at all. And I think I would have to ask my son, but it was something like 1 a.m. It was really crazy time. And I'm sitting in my bed watching these videos, just kind of scanning YouTube. And I'm watching her do the parking method. And it was like, light bulb came on. And I literally yelled, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Although I didn't say freaking. But I yelled, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Ran to my craft closet, rummaging through my closet. My son, who is at this point 20 years old, so this was, 3 years ago or something, it comes out of his room like, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I have to try this." So it's like, 1 a.m. and I'm trying the parking method for the first time. And, and then I find this magnificent community of stitchers, and I start learning all of these things that I never even knew were possible. Like, the different fabrics, and what do you mean I can change a color of a pattern? Like it had never occurred to me, and so then I start finding the different stands and the different techniques and the different Q snaps and, and all of these things. And it was just like rabbit hole. So I've loved you guys for a very long time, and you have kept me going through some difficult years. So I am very, very thrilled to be here today, and I thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching. Being as excited as I was about the community, I think I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, right? But I dove in on all these massive projects, right? So I had my full coverage piece for my mom. And then I had, I'm discovering stitch-alongs. And I'm like, I'm going to do all of them. And at the time, I wasn't with my husband. So I was living, it was me and my son. And I had a lot of stitching time. But even so, I bogged myself down with just the sheer amount of massive projects that I was doing and the stitch-alongs and getting further behind. And it's at one point it's not fun. So I scaled back on that. And then last year was it was a good year and a really rough year for us. My mother passed in early November, pancreatic cancer, F cancer. But I also got married last year, and we bought a house. And so it was like, it was these ups and these downs. And I just didn't get nearly as much stitching in as I would have liked. So my goal for this year is to really refocus on my stitching world. And I'd like to do some more smaller projects in between my really big projects, and be a little kinder to myself with my stitching goals. I don't know if anybody else out there can relate to that, but I'm not a fast stitcher. I watch some of these videos and I'm just like, I'm odd, but I'm jealous. You get these people, they're doing these beautiful projects on 40 count linen and they're like, flying through it. And I'm just like, I'm sitting here like, so one of my goals this year is I am not going to compare myself to other stitchers. I'm going to live my own journey and I'm going to love it. And if I'm not loving what I'm stitching, I'm going to move on. I think as stitchers and as crafters and as creators, we have this weird thing where we're like, well, I started it, so I have to finish it. But that's not true. So those are some of my stitching goals this year, and alongside of starting the Flosstube. I'm thrilled to say that I have a finish already for 2023, which I'd love to share with you. This is Hot Cocoa by Shannon Designs. Let's see if I can get it. And it's all wrinkly. It's fresh off the Q-snap from I think it was last Thursday. It's Tuesday right now. So let's see if I can get a good picture of that. I did this on a 16 count Ada that I found on Etsy, Vintage Needle Art Designs, I think, but it was in Portobello, and I don't think they have it currently. My friend at work who stitches, she's my stitchy friend, hi Jeannie, was looking for it, and I tried to find it, and I don't think they currently have it, but I absolutely love this piece. I loved stitching it. I think it's so freaking cute. There's a spot in my kitchen that I'd like to get a number of these kind of smaller pieces and frame them and then switch them out seasonally. So that's kind of my goal for this piece. But I used all the called for threads, all DMC. The only thing I did differently was I did 2 stitches for the back stitching because I thought the back stitching was really cute, and I felt like on this fabric it just disappeared. So that's the only thing I changed on it. But I love this piece. It on WhipGo for January. One of my squares was my wildcard square. I was like, figures, of course, it's going to come. My wildcard square is going to come up first. So this was closest to a finish. So I said, I'll do this one. I'm also using this for my January Stitch for Pride. If you are not familiar, check out D's 20 Stitches. They are hosted a Stitch for Pride last year during Pride Month, and then this year they're doing it all throughout 2023. It's so cool. Every month has got an action plan and something to learn about, and then a fun stitching challenge. And for January, it was Stitch on Something with Words. So I chose this one. So I'm thrilled to start the year with a finish. So I'm very excited about that. I got to get it ironed and framed, but I'm stoked about that. And then I wanted to show you my finish. My last finish before that was last July. like I said, last year was crazy. And this was a piece I did for my husband. Like I said, we're all gamers in this house. We're nerds. We're geeks. Proud of it. And this is the Zelda Breath of the Wild logo, which I did. I got this pattern off Etsy. Hold on, I wrote it down. GlitchStitchDesigns on Etsy. Again, it was just called for DMC. It's on a real, I think it's 14 count Ada that I had in my stash. I worked on this one during breaks at work, and when I take pieces to work, I try to take fabric I can see because, you know, the lighting's not utterly fantastic, and I am in my 40s, so sometimes that means big count. So I got to frame that too. That's on the list of things to frame here, hopefully within the next month. And then my other WhipGo square for this month was the Modern Folk Embroidery 2023 style, which I was so excited. And so I started, it was my New Year, New Start. There it is. It's gorgeous. I love this piece so much. I know there's so many people doing it. I accidentally bought 2 of these. So I was buying it from Evertote on my phone, and I was using Apple Pay, right? And I must have clicked it twice. I don't know what I did, but I ended up with 2. And instead of sending it back, I completely roped my work friend Jeannie into doing this with me. So she's now doing the stitch along with me. But I'm so sad because, okay, well, let me show you. So this is my start, and I've paused on this. So this is my start. And I got, I think, 2 days worth of stitching in on this, and I realized I just don't love the fabric. And it's a year-long stitch along. There's so many stitches. I'm like, if I'm not loving the fabric, I need to change it now. So I'm going to be restarting this. I got a notification. I bought new fabric from 123 Stitch, and I got a notification today that it shipped. So I hope it gets here in time for me to finish January. I'd really like to stay on track with this. This is 32 count linen. It's 32 count Belfast in, I think it's called Plain Air. Okay, so hopefully we're back. I have no idea. My husband's going to be editing my videos for me, and he just called me and bumped me off my video recording, so we'll see how that goes. So Modern Folk Embroidery Sal. So I'm just not loving my fabric. So I ordered new fabric. This is 32 count linen in a color called Plain Air, which I like the color. I don't know if it's the feel. I don't know if it's the thread, the colors that I chose with the fabric. I'm not sure, but just something's not digging for me. So I ordered 32 count Belfast in Zephyr by Picture This Plus from 123 Stitch. So I'm hoping it gets here in time for me to keep up. I really want to keep up on this year. And I'm very excited. The colors that I chose, obviously these are just 2 of them. I chose Classic Colorworks. This is Balsam Fir. My light is making that hard. Balsam Fir. And then Ye Old Gold. So the pattern is called Reaching Skyward. And the quote says, "Your roots go deep and you reach skyward." So, you know, and I know it's inspired by the tree motif. And so for me, I was like, well, I want to do foresty colors. I love trees. I love forests. I love, you know, green. And so I went with a green and a gold. And my idea was to do a blue for the fabric. The one that I have coming is a little bit more mottled. So I'm just pulled the needle out. I'm hoping that I will be happier with it when it comes. So that should be on the way. I'm hoping I get that sometime either later this week or early next week so I can jump ahead because my friend Jeannie is now ahead of me. So, but yes, I'm very excited. I love the piece. So I'm excited to get back to that. I wish you guys could see just the cross-stitch shrapnel everywhere. As I was trying to figure out what to show. I didn't want to do some like massive like whip parade for my first video, but I did want to show you guys some of the stuff that I was working on. But it's a bit of a hot mess. Should have been the hot mess stitcher. Hashtag hot mess stitching. So the other piece that I'm working on right now, and I just actually caught up on this today, is a temperature piece. I wanted to do this. I saw so many people do these in the last couple years, and I decided to join in this year. I'm doing the bookshelf from Kristi's Corner on Etsy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot her full name. But it's super cute. I'm doing the one from 2022. I liked that a little bit better than the brand new one, so I'm just going to change the numbers here. This is again on a 14 count. I just wanted something simple that, again, if I wanted to take it to work or just since I'm trying to keep up on it every few days, would be easy. I am backstitching the books just so they stand out a little bit more. I put so much effort into creating my own temperature gradient of colors, and I wanted them to be, so I get this nice gradient and all this. And then it's Ohio. It's January. The weather's been nuts, so it's just bouncing around all over the place, but it's fine. It's Ohio. So I'm very excited. My Dune needle minder. Dune's my favorite. Absolute favorite. Loved the movie last year. Can't wait for the one this year. But I'm very, very excited about keeping up with that and actually doing one for a change and seeing how it looks as the piece continues. This is a piece that I came across we have like one local cross stitch store. And it's cute and it's small and it's run by these older ladies, and they clearly have been stitching for a very long time. It has lots and lots and lots of samplers and Quakers and things like that. And I was there for my thread for the Modern Folk Embroidery sale. And as I was checking out, these were right next to the register. And I picked it up. There we go. These little adorable mini Quakers. This is the January one. They have one for every month. And I don't know. I picked it up. I don't do a lot of Quakers. I'm kind of starting to get more into them, but I haven't in the past. But I loved this piece, and I just thought it was so stinking cute. And so I picked it up, and I came home, and I was trying to figure out what kind of fabric. I didn't really want to buy a new fabric for it, so I was looking through my stash, and I had this piece of 22 count Ariosa that I had ordered from Hade, kind of when I was still trying to figure out what to do. Like, I was like, I don't know what fabric to use for a big full coverage. I don't know. I ordered several, and it's been sitting in my stash, and it's just perfect for this. I really am. Let me get this needle minder off of here so you can see it. I'm really loving it so far. I'm doing 1/1 on the 22 count. I would typically do a 2 over a 2 on a 22. Just I like thicker coverage generally, but with this style, I didn't like it. I wanted to see the X's with this style of piece. I'm not using the called for blues. I picked out just a bunch of blues and some other colors, and I'm just kind of using them as I go. Right now, these are all DMCs, I think. I think that this one's 931. And then I have a few colors that I'm going to use for some of the bigger snowflakes. Like, I think I'm going to use this Classic Colorworks Blue Corn for one of the snowflakes. And then I'm on the fence about this, but I've got this really pretty silk from the Winter Gatherer. From the Thread Gatherer. And it's called Winter Blues, and it was like a limited edition. And I love it, but I'm afraid that with the other colors it'll be too bright. So we'll see. We'll see when I get there. But I really like it, and this piece is big enough, so I think I'm going to put all the months on the same piece. because they're pretty small. So I think that they will all fit. I'll know a little bit more once I finish January. Okay, so I think we're back. Technical difficulties. First Flosstube. Don't really know what I'm doing. And then I picked up the next 2 months as well. On my WhipGo board, I have just monthly Quaker on there. So that way, whatever month it is, I can jump in. So there's the February, which is super cute. I really like that. I might do some darker reds on that one though, like an 8/16 maybe. And then March, which I think is just freaking adorable. So I'll probably use called for on that. But I really, really like these. I'm really excited for them. So that's that. This next piece, you know, I picked this up a few months before Mom died, when things were getting kind of bad. I don't typically do sampler style, but this one really spoke to me. It's Blackbird Designs. It's called What Remains. And it says, what remains is love. And that really was, just kind of spoke right to my heart. So I picked it up. I tea-dyed my own linen for the very first time on this one. So it has a couple imperfections, but I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm stitching with it. I'm going with it. But that's where I've started. I'm using mostly called for colors. I think I changed this one up. It calls for some weekly dye works. It calls for gentle arts. I think that when I looked at this, there was just too much of this red color for me. So I just wanted to do some more variegation and something different. I haven't decided. I think I might do the letters in a brown. We'll see when I get there, but I'm switching a few of the reds up just to give it some more variety. But I really like how it's coming out so far. It's got a few specialty stitches in it. It's got some Smyrna crosses, some satin stitch. I think this is a 32 count. I think. But yeah, I like it. It's emotional for me right now. So I'm kind of hoping it doesn't come up on my whip board for a few more months. The piece that I described earlier that I was doing for my mom, I've completely put away. I'll get back to it someday. But right now it's in the closet, and I will get back to it, but not yet. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along from 2021, which I joined late, so I was never under the impression that I was going to keep up with this one. But it's Fruits of Plenty. It's still on the there we go, on the Q-Snap. But you can kind of get an idea for it. I'm using, okay, I'm going to get there. Here we go. I love my colors for this. It's on 32 count Belfast Winter Moon by Zweigert. I'm using Weekly Dye Works in Havana and Whiskey. So you can kind of see, I'll take it off the Q-Snap for a future video so you guys can kind of see. I love stitching on this. And I think that was one of the reasons why when I didn't love stitching the new one on that fabric, I think my opinion was colored, because I was like, I know that I love this one, so I should love that one too. So I'm excited to keep going with that one. I have a couple Hades that I started. Like I said, I dove in head first, and I was like, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. I've put them mostly away. This is a mini. This is Meeting on the Turret Stairs, which I think the artist name is Burton. And I love it. I love it so much. So my goal is to finish this one. I think I do have one of my other Hades on my whip go. So I'll pull that out when that gets called. But this is kind of like, I mean, it's kind of a Guinevere and Lancelot piece. They're meeting on the stairs. It's beautiful. I I did a dance where I was Guinevere some years ago, and my dress was blue and looks so much like the blue in this that when I saw it, I was like, mine. So I'm pretty proud of it. It's my other piece that I'm doing, the Picasso, is definitely worse in terms of confetti because it doesn't have these nice lines to it, right? But it's still crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This is 22 count, and I'm doing 2/1 on this one, so I can get that nice thick, coverage. I love these. These are so cute. These are little baubles that I got off of Etsy. SunshineMamaDesigns, I think. If you watch Handwork Maniac, I think it's her daughter-in-law that makes and sells them. But they're so useful for full coverage. They're like, I think they're called Kushimo bobbins, but she puts them on magnets so that you can just stick them. So, love it. I have lots of other whips, but I think the last one that I'm going to show you today is my oldest whip. I started this when I was 16, y'all. I know it's on a scroll and it's not on the scroll correctly. Again, don't judge me. I didn't know what I was doing. But this is part of it here. This is Woodland Faerie. It's a Teresa Wentzler. I think it's retired. I think this one's retired. This is on 28 count Monaco, which for me at 16 was a huge jump from Ada. Again, I was like my mom, like a complete kit stitcher. So this was the first time I tried something harder, and it's mostly 2/2, but it does have this 1/1 section. You can kind of see it. The colors aren't coming through great, but I would like to pick this back up and finish it. It's on my whip go board. It's huge. There's so much more to this thing. But I cannot bear the thought of abandoning it. Number one, it's gorgeous. But number two, it's been like a friend. It's been around for a long time. So I would love to someday finish this. But you guys got to look at my this is the pattern. It's been through a lot. It's just torn into shreds. There's the piece. We'll blame teenage Nikki on the state of this pattern. But yeah, it's stunning. It's stunning. I would love to finish it. Yeah, we'll save. I've got Alforce embroidery here and Long Dog Sampler and what is that? Oh, that's from the Witchy Stitcher. We'll save that for another day. Like I said, I didn't want to make this some huge long video. I did want to share a couple pieces, charts that I have. I have a couple squares on my whip go for new starts because just the way that it worked out. I had a couple spots. So I know. And what did I say? I said I didn't want to do so many huge projects. Famous last words. So I had been wanting to do a Mirabilia for a while. So I finally popped on one and bought this one. I haven't kitted it up yet. This is Cathedral Wood Goddess, I think is what it's called. Cathedral Woods Goddess. I love this pattern. I think it's stunning. I'm so excited to stitch this. I think what I'm going to do is do a slightly darker background, just a touch. It says the model's stitched on 32 count Country French Latte Linen by Wischelt. Wischelt? How do you pronounce that? Somebody tell me. But if you look at it really close, which I don't know if you guys can see that, but the fabric is so close to her skin tone. Like it's really close. So I think I might go just a teensy touch darker on the fabric just to make that skin tone pop a little bit more. But I'm really excited to start this one. So that's on my list. I've got a couple patterns coming from Shannon Designs, which was the hot cocoa designer, which are more manageable. So I've got a couple of those coming. And then this I picked up at my local cross-stitching shop. It's a Rosewood Manor. I love this. Blue Rhapsody. I think it's beautiful. I love the flowers and I love the depth to it, which I think you miss in some samplers. But I think I'm going to do it in reds, which of course it's called Blue Rhapsody, but whatever. So I think I might do that in some reds. I would really like to. Yeah, so I'm excited about that one too. I haven't flat out decided on colors or fabric on that, but I think that might be one of my new starts on my WIPCO board. So yeah, so much for the smaller stuff. I'd love to do some smaller things. I have trouble finding ones that really speak to me. I've got a Mills Hill and like the buttons and beads. I have a Halloween one that's close to finish, so maybe I should throw that on the board. But anyway, I thank you guys for bearing with me through the technical difficulties and the rambling. Please come back and see me again. I'll put up another video sometime in the future. And yeah, tell me, were you a hot mess stitcher this week? Or were you like a pretty and put together stitcher? # hot mess stitcher. So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and I'll see you next time.